Hello, friends from the comic and manga world. My name is Hector, and I'm here to talk to you about my picks for the upcoming FOC March 13th, 2023. Now, for those of you who don't know, I work for Penguin Random House, managing sales into the comic retail market around the world. So, the titles I talk about in these videos are from publishers that we represent to the market. Also, for those of you who do watch us every once in a while, you might notice that Gee's not here. She's on a very well-deserved vacation, but she'll be back next week. So, also wanted to mention that we're on social media. So, aside from YouTube, where this video is posted, we also you can find us under PRH International Comics in Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So with that, let's get started. First off, I picked Peter Parker, Miles Morales, Spider-Man Double Trouble by Mariko Tamaki and Vera Ayala, and illustrated by Gurihiro, the amazing Japanese duo illustrators. Now, I picked this because even though it's more geared towards younger audience, I collected this single issues and I read it, and it's such an amazing story. It's very cool. This collects not just the miniseries Spider-Man Double Trouble, but also which is issues 1 to 4, but it also includes the issue 1 of Spider-Man and Venom Double Trouble. Now, this is, like I said, a very cool story. It has a lot of Easter eggs in it, it a lot of call outs to not just Spider-Man and Miles and their relationship, and it talks a lot about because it's it kind of starts like, oh, is bring your sidekick to work today. Oh, but Miles is like, well, I'm not your sidekick, and it goes through that, and it's very cool to see their relationship and working together. It's such a classic, very simple story about them working together. And like I said, there's a lot of funny moments, but there's also a lot of Easter eggs in here. So you can see the big baddie in the book is Thanos. You can see by the cover. And Thanos is the main speaker at Villain Con, which is like a Comic Con for villains. And it takes place in New York, and it takes place in the Javits Center, which is exactly where the New York Comic Con takes place. So for those of you who have the chance to be to New York, go to the New York Comic Con, you'll recognize a lot of that. Like they show off a lot of the scenes are in the Javits or around the Javits. There's also a lot of other villains that that show up, a lot of cameos. So it's very cool to see in the illustrations be like who's behind in the background and who's doing what, and there's a lot of very funny one-liners from different villains, and how they make it really funny because he's like they're all starstruck by Thanos because he's the biggest villain of all, and he's the main speaker at the villain con, so it's the big celebrity, and of course Peter Parker and Miles Morales kind of interrupt that. So I highly recommend it. I think for not just for younger audience, like I said, but also fans of comic books, they're going to get a lot of the humor and a lot of the Easter eggs they put in this book. That's that one. And then let's get into cover picks. So first off, I picked Bloodline, Daughter of Blade, #3 by Stephanie Hans variant. This is such a cool. Stephanie Hans is amazing. I love her art, and this one, she really shows off what she can do, not just with beautiful character designs, but with such a cool concept of bloodline sort of falling away from vampires, but she's still slashing, and there's a little bit of blood there, and sort of in the background you see her father's face, Blade. Uh, it's very beautiful. The color schemes are amazing. How she plays with them, and I think you can tell that Bloodline is running away in danger, but I mean flying away in danger or dropping away, but still having fun with a smile on her face, just like her dad. Next up is Captain Marvel 48 Erica D'Urso variant. Now, I picked this one because I really like it, but I feel like I needed to pick this one also on behalf of G because I know that she would have picked this one. This probably would have been her first pick this week. This is an amazing piece of art with, you see Miss Marvel inside a claw machine, kind of grabbing this little alien and making sure that Captain Marvel can catch it with the claw, and the claw machine is filled with plush toys from characters from all over the Marvel universe, all the different heroes, and you have Photon cheering for Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. You have She-Hulk on the side, kind of looking in, and then obviously also you see one Spider-Woman kind of dropping from the top and sneaking a peek into what's going on. I love small details. You have, sorry, I forget the name of the cat from Captain Marvel in the background there, with the tentacles coming out. And also, if you notice on the bottom left, right behind the Marvel logo, you see Thor's hammer as a keychain. It kind of is a shadow of it. So this is very, very cool concept, and the art is very beautiful. The colors are very vibrant. And like I said, it's one of my favorites, and I'm sure G would have loved it too. Would love it too. So next up is Star Wars Return of the Jedi eBooks 1. And this is Kyle Hott's variant. It's a 1 in 25. So you have here, I love all the covers for this book, for this issue. It was really hard for me because I wanted to pick one, but I didn't know which one. There's a Momoko, there's a Grisazulo, there's some other ones that are amazing too. But this one specifically caught my eye because it seems a little bit different. Not just the art, which is extremely beautiful with a lot of details of the forest and the Moon of Endor, with the creature in the background coming for the Ewoks, but also the Ewoks themselves are very detailed, and their faces are very menacing. Is not the is not the Ewoks from the 80s as you remember. And you also see the colors that the Kalahats use on this. Very, like, it's very beautiful nature, but also kind of mysterious, and the shadows. He played really well with the shadows of it, and the lines are very, very beautiful details, not just in the forest and the foliage and everything else, but also like in the hoods that the Ewoks are wearing and all that. And of course, you see the logo for the 40th anniversary of Return of the Jedi that we're celebrating this year. Very, very cool. Next, I picked Storm and the Brotherhood of Mutants #3. This is part of the Sin miniseries crossover, and this is art by Lineal U. This is the main cover by Lineal U, and you see here Storm in the clouds. But it's a huge storm in the clouds, sort of looking in the distance at the sun. You see the sun kind of reflected on her, and below the clouds on the ground, you see a huge crowd of people just looking up. And I'm sure they're just looking in awe at Storm up there. Very, very cool concept, very beautiful art. And I love everything from the flowing hair to her expression, and the fist, showing her how powerful she is, and the details of all the tiny people on the ground looking up. Very neat. Next is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles: The Armageddon Game, The Alliance #6, Variant B, by William Source. Now, this is also very cool. It's also some of my favorite characters, Rocksteady and Bebop. And I mean, there are some other covers in this issue that feature them, but this is such a detailed, realistic look at them, and looks great. Everything from their expression to the color of their skin or fur, depending on who you are, but also the clothes that they're wearing, and it's so very simple in concept, but so beautiful and some detail in execution. Very, very cool. Next is X-23 Deadly Regenesis #2, Jung Yoon Yoon variant. And you have X-23 Laura in the back of a car. She's already knocked out 2 guys in the back, and she's going for 2 more in the front. This really automatically reminded me of that opening scene in Deadpool 1, the first movie, where where he jumps into an SUV and starts in slow motion in the opening, fighting everybody in the car. But this is so this is sort of like that. It looks very cool, very action packed. I mean, I makes you wonder, did this guys try to kidnap her or something? And I mean, who would dare? But there you go. And I like that the guys in the front are kind of, okay, we're gonna go for it. But the guy who's driving is like, I'm gonna go for it, but I don't know. I think this is it for me. And of course, it is, because it's Laura. I love everything, and her design is amazing, because you see how young she looks, menacing with the hair and the claws, but her muscle tones and her obviously such a cool classic Wolverine pose right there. And yeah, so that was another one that I really love. And next up is X-Men 21. This is Nick Klein Stormbreakers variant. Now, this is also very beautiful art. It's sort of a very prehistoric look and barbaric look of, first of all, Groot, huge version of Groot, with sort of carrying a barbaric version of Rogue, who even has a spear in her hand. And then next to them is Wolverine, just as menacing as ever, with with muscles and veins all over the place. And next to them, Sabretooth and some dinosaurs and some pterodactyl in the sky. I mean, there's so much to unpack here, but so very well done and so very well placed. And it's very, very, very cool, and it's amazing how this one image tells so much of a story, and it gives you a whole concept for a story in just one image. And I love the details. I love, the Rogue is carrying a spear, and she has sort of a satchel, so she's like, Jane of the Jungle type. And then I also love Groot, the design, the roots coming out of his head, the hair basically, but also he has nails on his left hand, and they look amazing, made of wood, obviously. So this is also one beautiful, beautiful cover. This is one I'm definitely picking up. And next, we always end up with some news for the week. I'm cheating a little bit because this is news from the end of last week, but I didn't want to, I did want to take the opportunity to talk about this book, because I think it's very exciting. I think it's going to do extremely well, especially in for manga fans and comic fans. This is Turtle Bread, uh, the first graphic novel by Kim Joy from the Great British Bake Off. Kim Joy is very famous. She was runner-up in one of the British Bake Off seasons, and I think she won in one of the specials. But she has a lot of fans all over the world and social media, and she's already a big author. She already has several books, cookbooks, but now she decided to do this graphic novel, and then the illustrator is acclaimed Indonesian artist Alti Firmansyah. I'm sorry, no, I'm mispronouncing that. But this is a very cool concept. I think not just because of Kim Joy's fans, but also people who love cooking manga, even though this is not really a manga, but as you can tell by the art, It's very manga looking, and the concept of it sounds like it's very manga. And it talks, I'm just going to read real quick what's on the screen, which is the debut graphic novel from the great British Bake Off star and author Kim Joy. Thoroughbred explores mental health and the power of friendship, community, and of course, baking. So this is it's going to be first in digital, coming soon, and then it's coming through Dark Horse in print in the fall. I believe it's in October. So, and I'm sure we're going to talk about it again once FOC for this comes around. So there you go. And that's it for my list this week. I hope you enjoyed this video and I hope it was helpful. Like I said, G will be back next week for those of you who missed her this week. And I got to remind you again, we're on social media. This video is on YouTube, but also under PRH International Comics. You can find us in Twitter, Instagram, and in Facebook. And thank you so much. And I will see you, or you will see us next week. Bye now.